What if I told you a statue was set on fire, but the real target wasn't stone, it was a legacy? Overnight, chaos erupted outside the CR7 Museum. An ominous message appeared online, and the football world froze. Why would someone do this? And what does it reveal about fame, obsession, and modern football? Stay with us, because the truth behind this act is far more disturbing than the flames you saw. We'll explain everything in this video, step by step. Don't skip it. Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts because this is football news that hits like a thunderbolt in stoppage time. Portugal wakes up to pure shock as a statue of Cristiano Ronaldo, yes, that Cristiano Ronaldo, outside the iconic CR7 Museum is set on fire. Flames, chaos, and controversy lighting up the night while social media explodes faster than a Ronaldo counterattack. This wasn't just an act of vandalism, it was a statement. The attacker didn't stop at fire. An ominous message was later posted online, sending chills through the football world. And suddenly, this isn't just about a statue, it's about legacy, respect, and the weight of greatness. Think about it, Cristiano Ronaldo, from a skinny kid on the streets of Madeira to a five-time Ballon d'Or winner, Champions League king, record breaker, goal machine, and the man who turned Portugal into European champions. A player who thrives on pressure, feeds on doubt, and turns hate into fuel. And yet, even legends attract storms. But here's the irony. You can burn a statue, but you cannot burn history. You can light a match, but you can't erase 900 plus career goals, last minute screamers, impossible headers, and that iconic celebration echoing across the globe. If anything, this moment only underlines Ronaldo's impact. You don't vandalise ordinary players, you don't protest average careers. This is what happens when someone becomes bigger than the game itself. Authorities are investigating, fans are rallying, and once again, Cristiano Ronaldo stands at the centre of world football. Not with a ball at his feet, but with his legacy under the spotlight. Because love him or hate him, one thing is clear. Ronaldo doesn't just make headlines, he IS the headlines. Stay tuned, because in football, drama never sleeps and legends never fade. The football world was jolted awake by a scene that looked more like a crime thriller than a tribute to sporting greatness as flames engulfed the statue of Cristiano Ronaldo outside the CR7 Museum in Portugal, turning a symbol of pride into a headline of disbelief. In the quiet darkness of the night, fire danced around the figure that represents one of the most decorated athletes the game has ever known, and within minutes images began circulating online, sparking outrage, confusion, and fierce debate across continents. For locals, it wasn't just vandalism, it felt personal, because this statue stands not only for Ronaldo the footballer, but for Madeira's golden son, the kid who left the island with big dreams and came back as a global icon. As emergency services moved in and authorities secured the area, fans gathered in disbelief, many filming on their phones, others shaking their heads, asking how something meant to honour excellence could become a target of hatred. The CR7 Museum has long been a pilgrimage site for football lovers, filled with trophies, memories, and moments frozen in time. And the statue outside acts as the first handshake between Ronaldo's legacy and the people who come to witness it. Seeing it damaged by fire sent a clear message that this was more than random destruction, it was a calculated act meant to provoke reaction and attention. Social media erupted instantly, with supporters defending Ronaldo's legacy and critics arguing over symbolism, rivalry, and the pressure that comes with global fame. Some called it disgraceful, others called it inevitable when someone reaches that level of superstardom, because icons don't exist in silence, they exist in noise, and sometimes that noise turns ugly. Portuguese fans were especially vocal, reminding the world how Ronaldo carried the national team on his shoulders for nearly 2 decades, breaking records, lifting trophies, and putting Portugal firmly on the footballing map. What made the incident even more chilling was the realization that attacking a statue is an attack on representation, on what it stands for, on success achieved against the odds. Ronaldo's journey from humble beginnings to world domination has always divided opinion, admired by millions, resented by others, and moments like this expose how powerful that division can be. Fire, after all, is chosen for impact, for visibility, for shock value, and in the age of viral media, the image of a burning statue spreads faster than any match highlight. Authorities move quickly, promising a full investigation, while museum officials assured fans that the damage would be addressed, but the emotional impact lingered far beyond the physical scars. For many, this was a reminder that football legends are never just athletes, they are symbols loaded with emotion, pride, jealousy, and identity. And when those symbols are attacked, a reaction echoes through the sport like a roar from a packed stadium, still rising, still unfolding. What pushed this incident from shocking to deeply unsettling was the discovery of an ominous message posted on social media shortly after the act, transforming an already disturbing scene into a story layered with menace and mystery. In the modern football era, vandalism no longer ends at the crime scene. It follows through screens, timelines, and comment sections, and this message did exactly that, spreading unease as rapidly as highlights spread joy. The wording was vague yet deliberate, calculated to provoke fear, speculation, and endless interpretation, leaving fans, journalists, and authorities trying to decode intent rather than just assess damage. Within minutes, screenshots were circulating across platforms, amplified by fan pages, rival supporters, and neutral observers alike, each adding their own theory to the growing storm. Some saw it as a direct threat, others as an attempt at clout. But what remained undeniable was the timing, because pairing fire with words gave the act a second life beyond the physical flames. Football thrives on emotion, and this message poured fuel on it, turning outrage into anxiety and curiosity into concern, especially given Ronaldo's global stature and the symbolic importance of the CR7 Museum. The football world has seen rivalries spill into heated debates, chants, and online arguments, but this felt different, darker, crossing a line between sporting rivalry and personal fixation. Ronaldo has always been a polarizing figure, admired for his relentless drive and criticized for his confidence, and that duality has followed him throughout his career, from Manchester to Madrid, from Turin to the global spotlight of international tournaments. This message tapped into that polarization, acting like a spark thrown into an already volatile crowd, where admiration and resentment coexist in uncomfortable proximity. Authorities treated the post seriously, monitoring digital footprints and examining whether it was symbolic provocation or something more dangerous, because in an era where online threats can translate into real-world consequences, nothing is taken lightly. Fans, meanwhile, reacted with a mix of defiance and solidarity, flooding social media with messages of support, posting Ronaldo's greatest goals, iconic celebrations, and career-defining moments, as if to drown out negativity with reminders of achievement. Others questioned how football culture has evolved, wondering when passion began mutating into obsession, and when criticism crossed into hostility. The message also reignited debates about the burden carried by sporting icons who are celebrated as heroes but scrutinized as targets, living under a spotlight that never switches off. Ronaldo's career has been built on responding to pressure, on using doubt as motivation, on turning boos into goals. And yet moments like this reveal that not all challenges come from the pitch. Words typed behind a screen can carry as much weight as actions taken in the street, especially when they hint at intent rather than opinion. As investigators piece together timelines and digital clues, the football community watches closely, aware that this story is no longer confined to one statue or one post, but reflects a wider tension between fame, fandom, and the darker corners of online expression. A tension still growing, still echoing, still unresolved. But to understand why this incident resonated so deeply, you have to rewind the clock and look at the journey of the man at the centre of it all, a journey that transformed Cristiano Ronaldo from a barefoot dreamer in Madeira into one of the most dominant forces football has ever witnessed. Long before statues, museums, and global headlines, there was a boy with raw talent and relentless hunger, leaving home at a young age, facing loneliness, hardship, and doubt, all in pursuit of a dream that refused to let him rest. That struggle is the foundation of his legend, and it's the reason any attack on his legacy feels amplified, because it challenges a story built on sacrifice. But Ronaldo's rise was never smooth. He universally applauded, from his early days dazzling defenders with Sporting Lisbon to arriving in England as a flashy teenager with tricks to spare and critics waiting to pounce. He was shaped by pressure. He was mocked, doubted, and targeted, yet each challenge hardened his resolve, turning flair into efficiency and talent into ruthless productivity. Goals followed, trophies followed, and suddenly the same voices that questioned him were forced to acknowledge a phenomenon in motion. At Real Madrid, his legacy exploded into the stratosphere. Records fell like dominoes, Champions League nights became personal showcases, and his rivalry with the very best pushed the sport to unprecedented heights. This wasn't just success, it was dominance built on discipline, repetition, and an obsession with improvement that bordered on madness. Every goal celebration, every clutch moment, every knockout stage performance added another layer to a career that refused to slow down. Even when he left Spain, the narrative followed him. Italy, England, again, international tournaments, new leagues, new challenges, and the same expectation, deliver or be doubted. And time after time, Ronaldo answered, not with words, but with goals, leadership, and moments that swung matches and silenced stadiums. With Portugal, he carried the weight of a nation's hopes, transforming from a talented individual into a captain who inspired belief, culminating in historic triumphs that reshaped his country's football identity. This is why a statue exists in the first place, not as decoration, but as recognition of a career that transcended club colours and rivalries. Statues are built for players who redefine eras, and Ronaldo did that through consistency, longevity, and an almost defiant refusal to fade. Burning a statue cannot erase the countless hours of training, the injuries played through, the record set, or the joy delivered to millions of supporters across generations. Legends are not fragile, they are forged in adversity, and Ronaldo's career has been a masterclass in turning pressure into propulsion. Moments like this only highlight how deeply his presence is etched into the game, because indifference never sparks reaction, and ordinary careers are never targeted. His legacy continues to stand tall in trophies, numbers, memories, and influence, unshaken, unmoved, still towering over modern football. As news of the incident spread, the reaction from the football world came in waves, swift, emotional, and impossible to ignore, proving once again how deeply Cristiano Ronaldo's name is woven into the global game. Fans in Portugal were the first to respond, expressing anger and disbelief, treating the attack not just as vandalism, but as an insult to national pride, because for many, Ronaldo represents a generation of Portuguese football that dared to dream bigger. Messages of support flooded social media, with images of the statue untouched, goals replayed on loop, and words of solidarity aimed at preserving respect for what he symbolises. Clubs, former teammates, and football figures joined the conversation, some condemning the act directly, others choosing subtlety, posting tributes, statistics, and iconic moments as quiet defiance. The football community understands symbolism, and responding with achievements rather than outrage felt intentional, a reminder that legacy outlives damage. Rival fans were divided, some condemning the act despite competitive differences, others attempting to frame it within rivalry culture, though many quickly recognised that this crossed a boundary beyond sport. Authorities in Portugal moved promptly, sealing off the area around the CR7 Museum and launching a formal investigation, treating the case with seriousness due to the public nature of the act and the accompanying online message. Security concerns were raised, surveillance footage reviewed, and digital activity monitored, reflecting how modern football related incidents are no longer isolated, but interconnected between physical spaces and online platforms. The presence of an ominous message elevated the response, shifting focus from simple vandalism to potential intent, a shift that demanded caution and responsibility. Media coverage intensified, with sports channels, newspapers, and online outlets dissecting every detail, from timing to motive, from symbolism to consequence. Debates erupted about fame, backlash, and the responsibilities that come with being a global icon, while analysts questioned whether football culture has reached a point where attention-seeking acts are amplified by the very platforms designed to celebrate the sport. Ronaldo's name dominated headlines once more, not for a goal or a record, but for the gravity of what his image represents. Despite the chaos, a sense of unity emerged among many fans who used the moment to reflect on respect within the game, on where passion ends and hostility begins. The conversation extended beyond Ronaldo himself, touching on how football heroes are treated in public spaces and how symbolism should be protected regardless of club allegiance. In that sense, the incident became a mirror, reflecting both the intensity and the vulnerability of modern football culture. As investigators continue their work and the statue awaits restoration, the football world remains alert, aware that this story is about more than one act on one night. It underscores how deeply football figures resonate, how quickly emotions ignite, and how the game's influence stretches far beyond the pitch into streets, screens, and collective identity, still unfolding, still debated, still watched. Thank you for listening, and Don. Don't forget to like and subscribe.